Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to this episode of the Wide Eye Sports Podcast. You got Brenner hosting, as is every week, and we have Riley and Spoon on the mics with us today. We are going to get things right underway today. We got a lot to cover. As always, we'll be touching on MVP race, playoff race. We're going to be touching on a little bit of everything today. But we're going to start it off with our weeklies. And as you know, if you're returning and if you're not returning and you're new, we do a certain set of subjects each week known as the weeklies. We cover our personal MVP of the week, our personal losers of the week. So just any kind of somebody who took an L, just simple as that. We have a game of the week for the next week, and we have a suicide pick. So a team in which we think is a guaranteed winner, and then we keep record on the show of how often we were right, how often we were wrong. So with that, we're going to get underway with those. I'm going to start it off with MVP. My MVP of the week is actually a team who had a setback, the Baltimore Ravens. They lost Mark Andrews and still dominated a division opponent. Now, a division opponent who also lost their best player. But I don't necessarily think this makes them all that much worse of a team. Like, obviously, losing your best skill position player isn't optimal, but they went out there and they showed they could still put up 35 points. Or I think they won 34, right? Was it 34? I think it was 34 points they put up. But anyways, they went out and they proved that, like, even without our best skill position guy, we're still dominant and we can still win football games. So, like, I see no reason why they shouldn't be a force from here on out. And then my biggest loser is the Minnesota Vikings. We took a fat L this week on Sunday Night Football against the Broncos, turned the ball over 3 times, taking a L to a lesser opponent. We were on the road, but you can't turn the ball over 3 times against any team and expect to win. And we are still on track for my prediction of the Vikings will not lose a game in which they win the turnover battle. That has stuck pat throughout the entire season. So those are my biggest winner and biggest loser of the week. Riley,
I wanted to bring up the Ravens real quick. What you were saying, they do have 2 pretty easy games coming up for them. They got the Chargers and then the Rams. But do you see the 3-game stretch after that they play?
No, I haven't looked that far ahead.
They play at Jacksonville. Then the following week they play at the 49ers.
That's a tough one.
And then the following week they play Miami.
I think they can take Miami and Jacksonville.
I think they probably could too. I'm just saying that those 3 teams back to like all 3 weeks in a row. That's a tough little stretch.
They're going to be battle tested. They're going to be battle tested. And they're going to be ready to go. I'll tell you right now.
All right. Riley, who's your MVP of the week?
So,
Riley, we lost you. Look, we lost you. Hold on. We lost you. Repeat what you said. You were cutting in and out there.
Nope. I went with Brock Purdy. You went
Brock Purdy's 21, your MVP?
20, oh, yeah. 21 to 25 for 333 and 3 tuds. He had a great performance. Now, it was against the Bucks. But let's be honest with what Purdy is, right? So he had a chance to dispel the narrative that he was more than a game manager when he was without all of his guys. But I don't think he proved that with the losing streak they went on.
Yeah.
So I think we need to start looking at Brock Purdy as more of a game manager, and that's just what he is. And he did a great job of that.
I mean, some of us have been looking at him that way for a while.
Hey, I'm just there was a narrative, and he had a chance to dispel it, and he didn't. Now, my biggest loser of the week is the Chicago Bears. As usual, we are finding new.
We lost you again.
We lost you, Riley.
We lost you again.
Oh.
Repeat.
What was the last thing you heard?
We heard you that the Bears are your biggest loser and that they found new ways to, and then blanked out.
Historically lose. No team in NFL history has had 3 or more turnovers in 40-plus minutes time of possession and lost that game. And we gave up a 2-possession lead in 4 minutes, and they're at the end, right? So my biggest problem with it is this is supposed to be an evaluation of Justin Fields this year. But at the end of the game, it seemed like the coaches were more worried about coaching to save their job than evaluating Fields. They had a chance to cut him loose and see what he could do when you need to get a first down to win the game. And they run the ball twice and then call a shot play on 3rd and 10.
Now, I will say that running those on 1st and 2nd down, that's totally fine. The deep shot is questionable because Fields isn't. The deep shot felt like an evaluation move of how does he handle this play and how good of a ball does he throw in this scenario? How clutch is he basically? And I will say Fields threw a nice ball up there. He just couldn't get it in time. I think it was a mix, right? Like they didn't just pick one. They did half and half. They had a foot in each pool of they were coaching to save their job, win the game with the runs, and then like, okay, well, let's see what Fields can do now that we're in 3rd and 8.
Yes, so, but why not put the ball in his hands all 3 downs?
Because that's not winning football. I don't know why they put the ball in his hand on the last one. Like on that pass, I guess I should say, because like I wouldn't be upset if they had a 15-yard in route called and DJ Moore was in the middle of the field wide open and he hit him on that. Like I wouldn't be mad about that. But I'm perplexed as to why you would call a 35-yard play when you need 8 yards to end the game.
Yes,
like that didn't make sense to me.
That didn't make sense to me. But I get running it on 1st down, but if you're evaluating Fields, you should put the game in his hands rather than here's a 3rd and long. Well, you better get it.
Here's a thought. Maybe the final play, I haven't watched the all 22 of that final play, but maybe there were other routes on that play that they were testing him. Maybe it was an evaluation play where they thought, well, let's see which play he chooses or which route
he had. He had DJ Moore short of the chains, and it would have been 50-50 on if DJ could make a guy miss. I don't have a problem with the deep shot because I think he put up a nice ball. That's a catchable ball that I don't. Yeah. Why not?
I don't disagree.
Why not have that drawn up for DJ Moore to catch rather than our 4th round?
Because if it's DJ Moore, there might be more than one guy in the area.
It's
the Julio Jones thing. You use your best player as a decoy, which I don't agree. I don't like that. I like the way Kevin O'Connell uses JJ. You get your best player the ball, like period, end of story. You use your best players. I didn't ever like the Julio Jones, like where Kyle Shanahan, when he was in, I mean, granted it took him to a Super Bowl, but when he was there, Julio Jones would go like 6 games with like 55 yards receiving and no touchdowns, and then one game with like 180 yards and 3 touchdowns because they would use him. And he would get all this work, and then 4 games he'd be a decoy. And I hated that because your best players give you the best chance to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, but either way you look at it, there's never been a loss like this in the 100+ years of the.
I mean, I could think of one worse off the top of my head right now. So, like Indianapolis gave up a 33-point lead last year to the Minnesota Vikings. Just be happy you're not them. Just be happy you're not Indy.
Yeah, be happy it didn't happen in the Super Bowl either.
Yeah,
but could you imagine? Like we were so close to beating the Lions, top team in the NFC. I think that just shows how
fraudulent
good the Lions are.
Fraudulent the Lions are. Whenever we come to the playoffs, and the Lions are a 1st round exit, or they get a 7 seed and barely win that game and are a 2nd round exit, I will be screaming into this microphone that they were fraudulent the entire time. They have not beaten a good team when the team was healthy, and they have routinely struggled against bad teams.
I mean, the Bears are a better team with Justin Fields in. So I feel like him coming back, that makes them they're a better team than a 3-8 team, in my opinion.
No, they are. Yes. They are
with Justin Fields.
They're a 5-win team max with Justin Fields.
I think this. Okay, I'm saying this is like an average team.
Didn't you have them winning the NFC North at the beginning of the year?
The Bears?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe second.
I had the Bears coming in second in the NFC North. I did.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah. I had them coming in third and potentially like fighting for a third wild card spot.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
But they have proven to me this year that they are not a wild card team. They are a 4 to 6 win team. To the Bears
I just think this win for the Lions shows that even when they're down, like they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep trying to win the game. Like even though they're down, I mean, shoot, how much were they? They were down like 5.
They were down 10 points with 4 minutes left, right, Riley?
Yeah, that's what they were.
I think it was 12,
it was 2 possessions.
12 points in
12 points. 12 points.
Yep. And for them to just make a comeback, that's spectacular, dude. That defense stepped up, made stops when they needed to, when it counted. The offense was they moved down the field like no problems.
The Bears like that, getting down to the Bears like that says something else. That you got to show up ready. You can't just be ready or you can't get up when you need to be up. You need to be up all the time.
Hey man, division games are weird.
They are. I do agree with that. And that's why I didn't pick like the Bears are my biggest loser, Lions are my biggest. Like I didn't do anything like that. And I completely agree. Division games are weird. I had a buddy of mine earlier this week text me and be like, "Hey, watch out for the Bears. They could take the Lions this week." And I was like, "What? Yeah, okay, whatever." But
they almost did.
They almost did because division games are weird.
From a locker room point of view, imagine what that win would have done to the Bears. I mean, their first game with Justin Fields back, they go and beat a 7-2 team. Like, I think the locker room is way different if we win that game.
Probably, but you lost.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Spoon, you got an MVP and a biggest loser for us?
So, Riley kind of stole mine. I was going to say Brock Purdy was my MVP of the week. Yeah. I mean, when you look at his stats for the game,
I mean, that's like saying Max Verstappen is the best driver in F1 racing. He's not the best driver. He just has the best car. His car is way better than everybody else's.
But only throwing for 4 completions while throwing for over 300 yards. He had 158 passer rating, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's great.
I once saw Nick Foles throw 7 touchdowns in a game.
I'm just saying for this week,
he won a Super Bowl. Put some respect on his name.
That was the greatest coaching job ever performed in the history of man. I'll go. We can touch on that later.
But I do have a backup too, though. I was going to give a shout out to the Jags and the Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley connection. Definitely deserves some MVP recognition. Calvin Ridley has 4 total touchdowns this year, and he scored 2 of them this last week. So congrats to him. He had a great bounce back game that he needed.
Shout out to my fantasy team. Calvin Ridley finally showing up for the fantasy team.
Yep.
It was my missing link.
I had a buddy at work that was telling me about that. He was like, "Hey man, thank God Calvin Ridley's going off right now." He's like, he hasn't done shit for me for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah. So congrats to him. My biggest L of the week, though, I am going to a divisional game, and I'm going to the Commanders. So it's not really just – it's not about the week itself. It's about the fact that they played the Giants now twice, and they still have not beat them. The Giants have beat them both times. How? And honestly, it goes to Sam Howell. Like, you throw 3 picks in a game and expect to win? No, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And one of them being a pick 6 at the end of the game whenever you're trying to drive to – potentially win the game, and you throw a pick 6, like that hurts. And it's going to kill their playoff contingency kind of, because they were like the first 3 out in the NFC. Yeah, and now they've dropped like 3 spots now.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember where that. I can tell.
They were on my list for first 3 out in the NFC, and they've dropped out of that. They're like 12th in the NFC now. So it's big. I think this was a big L for them.
Yeah, they are 12th. You are correct about that.
They fell down. I think they were like 9th or 10th last week.
Weird to say this as I'm wearing my no pack no jersey right now, but the Packers are actually the 8th seed in the NFC, which is kind of crazy to think about because They're not a good team.
Brenner, you didn't say your biggest loser of the week, though. Did you?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I did. It's the Vikings, remember?
Oh, yep, that's right. Okay.
They turned the ball over 3 times and lost to Denver. Yeah.
Hey, that was one
I mean,
of my games.
I
of the
would
week,
like
and
to
it was
say
a great
this.
game.
I'm going to say this. Kareem Jackson got suspended by the NFL for his hit on Josh Dobbs on the first drive of the game that caused a fumble. Okay. That drive led to 3 points for Denver. If that flag gets thrown like it should have, and he gets ejected like he should have, we retain possession and we win by 2. Now, we also turned the ball over 2 other times, so that's on us. But
Pretty sure Tom Brady came out and said something about this today, didn't he?
I don't know.
Did any
But
of you all
that's,
see that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to harp. I'm
You
not going to
saw
harp.
it?
yeah,
I
he's
kind of agree with them. I do think that they are the NFL is changing completely. It's no
Yeah, it
longer because people like Ray Lewis would get flagged every play now.
Yeah, no, it's a completely
Oh,
different game. But I'm not gonna harp. I'm not gonna harp on that. We're gonna move on to game of the week here. Riley, I'm gonna let you go first with your game of the week.
So my game of the week is Jags versus the Texans. Now the Jags are a game up in the division,
Yeah.
and the Texans have already beat them. So if the Texans go in there and win, they have the tiebreaker and would go to first place in their division. And the Texans are on a 3-game win streak, looking to make it 4. And that's why it's my game of the week.
Yeah, for sure. That's gonna be a great. I think it'll just be a great game. Division games are always weird and shit happens that's awkward and
yeah.
nobody knows why. But I do think it'll be a great battle watching those 2 offenses go at it. D'Amico Ryans has won that locker room in Houston. I mean, he has won that locker room, and they're willing to stab babies for that man. So like, good for him.
That's a game that I'm definitely excited to watch. My game of the week though, I'm going Browns and Broncos. So like I said last week, the Broncos they're streaking right now. They've had
fucking luckiest team in football. Luckiest team in football. They've had 9 turnovers in 3 games, or 12 turnovers in 3 games.
Hey man, they've won 4 straight. They've beat some good teams. They've beat 3 teams that are playoff teams.
Yeah,
I would still argue that Buffalo is a playoff team.
I mean, they are.
And now they're going against another one.
Playoff caliber team.
Playoff caliber team. And now they're going against another one that is. They're pretty good too. I'm excited to see how the Broncos match up against them. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I am gonna take the easy out here. I'm gonna take Buffalo at Philly.
Okay.
What else do you need to say? You get Josh Allen against Jalen Hurts. You get the best statistical quarterback in the game against the MVP favorite in the game. Like, there's not a whole lot I need to convince you that this is going to be a great game. You got to go. What's up?
I was going to say, from last week with the Bills' new offensive coordinator, that looks like it's a success so far. So
yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not high on the Bills. Let's just call it how it is. They have the same record as the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings have been without Justin Jefferson for 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
No Kirk Cousins for 3 weeks. Like, the Bills should have a better record than the Vikings. The Bills are underperforming right now, and they need to be better.
The Bills did just put up 32 against one of the NFL's best defenses last week, and it being a division rival. So I'm excited.
Game.
I know, but they're usually closer than that.
Yeah,
they're usually a lot closer than that.
I get you. I'm just saying, I'm not impressed by Buffalo.
I agree, though. I am excited to see how Buffalo matches up with them now.
I need Buffalo to be better. Better. I think it's going to be a great game, though. Philly is hot right now. They just beat Kansas City. They're hot right now. They have proven in multiple games this year that even when Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, they can win games. Like, they don't struggle. Like, they just switch over the offense to the ground, and it just keeps on rolling. So it'll be fun to watch. I'm really excited about it, and I hope it's a great game. And with that, we'll move to our suicide picks this week, and I'll lead us off. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I'm taking the Steelers as my pick. I was correct last week, 1-0. I took the Cowboys. So with that, Riley, who's your pick? Who you got?
So let me set the scene for you guys, right?
All right. I wonder who you're gonna pick.
I was sitting down at the lake having a few brewskis. And I don't know if it was the Busch Light or what, but I had this gut feeling, right? So I started doing the research, looking into the numbers.
Putting in the hours.
And my pick this week is the Buffalo Bills, baby.
Oh, my
They're
God.
going into Philly and beating the Eagles. Now,
Riley did
the
pick Houston and
Eagles
was
have
right last week.
The Eagles have only played Josh Allen once, and it was in 2019. Coming on a short week, they don't have much experience facing Josh Allen, and I think he's going to put up big numbers in Philly.
But here's the thing. They have a quarterback that plays the exact same way Josh Allen plays. So, like, their defense has an in-house cheat code to see how Josh Allen plays. Like,
I would say Josh Allen is a much better passer than Jalen Hurts.
I would say he has a bigger arm. I wouldn't say his precision is any better, but he does have a bigger arm. But I think I think they're both very similar quarterbacks.
I'm rolling with them.
Hey, I get it. Spoon, who you taking? Who you taking this week?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I want to save. I think I want to save a couple of mine because I'm not going to pick the Cowboys against the Commanders. That's too easy.
Yep.
I want to save my Cowboys pick for when I need it.
Okay.
I kind of want to save my Vikings pick too. I'm starting to lean in a different direction right now.
Who we thinking?
I'm thinking with Kyler Murray back, I think Arizona gets a big win against the Rams at home this week.
You going to Arizona?
I think I'm going to go Arizona.
Arizona
I'm
submitting
Arizona.
Arizona is in against the Rams. All right.
Another divisional game, man.
It's you guys are ballsy.
I know.
You
took one this week, though.
Yeah, but it's the Steelers. I like this. I like the Steelers. I like the Steelers coming off a loss. All right. That's my thing. They're coming off a loss. I like how it looks.
Didn't they fire Canada? Today?
Yeah, they did.
Do we know who the new OC is?
I don't off the top of my head. Spoon, you got that on look up real quick?
The new OC?
Yeah, if you can find that for us while we move on here to our MVP race and predictions. We are going to spend a little time talking about the MVP race, who we think should be the MVP and why. I'm going to start off by sending a big shout out to a certain individual who I kind of talked some shit on in the beginning of the show in a roundabout way. That would be Jared Goff. Now, while I don't pick him as my current MVP favorite, I would like to say that Jared Goff is the ultimate game manager and has done everything right. He's not a guy who you can put in your offense and he will elevate everybody to an all-pro level. But he is a guy in which you can put in your offense and expect everything he does to be the right decision 90% of the time. He had some bad turnovers against the Bears, I think. But for the most part, he's a guy that if you call the plays right, he's going to execute nine times out of 10. He's going to make the right call. Now, with that being said, the favorite for MVP is going to be Jalen Hurts because the Eagles are the 1 seed in the NFC. They just beat the 1 seed in the AFC to knock them down to the 2 seed. My personal favorite for MVP is the 1 seed in the AFC, and that's Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar is playing at an elite level right now as a passer. Now, the Ravens don't throw the ball as much as a lot of other teams, so his numbers aren't as big, but he is just as efficient, if not more, than all the other passers. So he just doesn't have the reps because the Ravens can win in so many other ways that they like to stay more balanced than most other teams. So
quarterback coach Mike Sullivan is the new offensive coordinator, by the way.
All right, thank you for that.
I just didn't want to interrupt you at a bad spot.
No, you're good. You're good. I appreciate it. But I'm going to take Lamar Jackson is my MVP favorite. I also, we'll touch a little bit more on this later, but I have Baltimore coming in at the 2 seed at the end of the season in the playoffs. So we'll touch more on that later. But I think you have to finish as a top 2 seed in your conference to win the MVP, if not the 1 seed. Like, most of the time the going all the way back to 2000, there's only been 4 times where the MVP didn't have a bye. So now it's a little different because only the 1 seed gets the bye, but I think you have to be a top 2 seed to get a bye. And so I think Lamar's going to be your MVP. He's going to win his 2nd MVP award, and I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl.
All right.
All right. Riley,
who's yours?
So it's very hard for me to not say Josh Allen because
God, what the fuck do you mean?
Not anymore,
dude. If Josh Allen comes back and wins his division, are you telling me there's no
comes back and wins his division? He's going to be lucky to make the fucking playoffs,
dude. He's what, 3 games back from the Miami, and they play week 17.
Yeah,
they're not out of this yet.
I don't think they have a real good shot to beat Miami.
Hey, let me finish. I'm not going with Josh. You're getting me on a Josh Allen.
Let's stop. Hold on.
Yes.
The Bills are going to struggle to make the playoffs, dude. Make the playoffs. They beat a terrible Jets offense. They held a terrible Jets offense to 6 points, which any NFL team you hold to 6 points is impressive. But this Jets offense is ungodly bad.
Like they held. What are you trying? You're like they held them to 6 points, but they're super bad. Like, was it a touchdown or 2 field?
It's not impressive. Like, you have to be on a winning team.
That has been our complaint about a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, but you have to be on a
winning
team.
Impressive wins.
You have to be on a winning team to get an MVP. You have to. That's a fact. And right now, Josh Allen's on a 500 team.
And that's what, if he comes back and wins the division. That's what I was hinging that on.
You think there's a snowball's chance in hell that the Bills are going to go into Miami against that team and score more points on the road?
Yes. Yes. You are.
Is Josh Allen your MVP?
Deep down, yes. Deep down, yes.
Okay,
dude. This year,
for people listening at home, Brenner just threw his headset on the ground.
He has gotten 3 or more touchdowns in over 50% of his games this year.
That's great.
So scoring is not their problem. The last time Josh Allen didn't have a score in an NFL game, I was in high school.
That's great.
Josh Allen is leading the NFL though in passing touchdowns.
That's cool. That's awesome.
I'll give him that.
Total touchdowns and total yards, and
that's great. You know what? This narrative has plagued me for years, and I understand. I understand it. Kirk Cousins has put up great numbers for years, and you know what people said? Cool, you're not winning playoff games. Josh Allen gets held to that same standard. You're not winning, you don't get praised. Okay.
Has he not won more playoff games than Kirk Cousins?
I mean, right now. He is not winning games. If you are not currently winning games, you do not get praise. And right now, he's a 500 quarterback.
Okay, if they go in there and beat Philly, will you get on my wagon?
I will. If they go in and beat Philly, I will admit that Josh Allen has a snowball's chance in hell of making an MVP ballot. Right now, he is not even an option. Like the AP, nobody in the AP press is going to vote for Josh Allen right now. Nobody. He will receive 0 MVP votes. But if they were to go in and beat Philly, then there's a snowball's chance in hell somebody gives him a vote, 2 votes, 3 votes.
I don't know, man. I just.
Right, so, are you going with Josh Allen? Are you going with Josh Allen right now?
Yep, you tied me to.
All right,
I'm going.
Okay. All right, fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're having fun.
You talked me into it.
All right. So this playoff race is all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to give a couple shout outs. I liked your shout out to Jared Goff. Thank you.
Yeah,
I brought him
okay.
up last week. I think he should be, his
Credit
name
where
should
credit
be in
is
the
due.
hat.
Credit where credit is due.
As a non-biased Dak Prescott hater, I do think that his name is starting to be pushed into the hat as well.
I think
but
Dallas would have to win out.
We would have to win out. And I think that
I
we
would
would
have to
also, because the thing is, even if we win out and the Eagles win out, and let's say we do beat the Eagles, but the Eagles are, I mean, they're
Well,
going
you
to
play
have
the
a better
Eagles
record.
twice.
Yeah, but we've already played them once and they beat us.
Oh, I thought you guys played twice still. I forgot you guys have played once. My bad.
So
My bad.
that's where it's going to affect him. Like you were saying before, is that the Cowboys are probably going to be the number one team in the wild card. They're probably not going to win the division, and that's where it's going to hurt him a little bit.
Yeah.
I also am looking. It's in the matchup this week. I think Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud both have arguments for having their name there, and I wanted to ask you guys if CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans beat the Jags this week, is CJ Stroud in the top 5 for MVP candidates?
Top 5, yeah. He would be my 5 then.
He would be your 5 then?
He would be my 5. Because right now, like, I have Hurts, Lamar, Goff, and Patrick Mahomes is my top 4.
Mhm.
So, not in order. I would have Lamar, Hurts, Pat, Goff in order. But because Patrick Mahomes receivers do lead the league in drops. Like, he is struggling. His weapons are struggling. He is not.
He's not.
Well. But
and I love
Matt
that he's
Nagy
not calling out his
weapons.
receivers at all. Like that's
he's doing that's Pat. Pat's a good guy.
Yeah. I feel like the Chiefs are relying too much on Mahomes. You know what I mean?
Well, when
Like
you pay somebody
him-
$500 million, it's hard to pay other people.
But wasn't that over 10 years? What does that come down to per year?
$50 million a year.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
it is.
I think that-
But-
never mind. Ignore what I said.
So there's
Yeah,
3 guys
there we
that are definitely in the hunt. I've been high on Tua.
Tua,
But
I mean, Tua is just hard to ignore because he has the statistical
has
rate.
the
He's top
stat.
5 in everything because
Yep.
he has the best weapons. And now, if Miami were to make a play for the 2 seed in the AFC, I think Tua wins MVP if he's a top 2 seed. I don't care who else is in the conversation. If Miami finishes as a 2 seed or better, Tua wins the MVP, no question about it, because his stats are so good.
Yep.
But
And that's why he's my MVP pick. Still, I'm still gonna stay on Tua.
That's fair. If we're going statistically, I think Tua is the MVP favorite, with Josh Allen at 2. If we're going off statistics alone, but
it also
that's not how it works.
You're also claiming that it's always the 1 or 2 seed, but right now, if you look at the 5 through the 1 seed in the AFC, 8-3, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3. They all have great records.
Yeah.
They're all right there together. So I don't think it's going to really matter about if you have a first round bye in the playoffs or not. I think they're just going to look at what team would be so bad without that player there. And I think Tua is the difference maker.
Pray that happens one day.
I
AP Prep starts looking at it that way, but they don't.
Hope. They don't. They're not going
That's
to.
why
It's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. So Dalton, who unfortunately couldn't make the show today, wanted us to point out that Jalen Hurts played. He had, I think, 150 passing yards and an interception last night with 28 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. So not a great statistical game, and his odds of winning MVP went up because the team won. The AP Press prioritizes wins over statistics. End of story. They don't care if you throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns if you lose the game.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes had a better passer rating than Jalen Hurts did yesterday.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes had a better game than Jalen Hurts did.
Yep.
Unfortunately enough, his defense gave up more points. And I don't like it, Riley. I don't like the fact that I have to penalize Josh Allen for his team not winning. But you do. And like the AP Press.
They're 6-5.
But they're out of the playoffs right now.
They're
That's
out
the
of the
thing.
But
You're not going to win MVP.
They're on the bubble.
None of them are 6-4. They just already had their bye week.
And after they lose to the Eagles this week, they're going to fall even further down.
500 team again. And
Then
the
they're
bottom
not gonna
line is
lose to the
the
Eagles,
bottom
man.
line is if the AP Press with the MVP award wanted it to be who is the most valuable to their team, Derrick Henry would have won it 2 years ago. right? When he rushed for 2,000 yards with no Pro Bowl or All Pro offensive lineman for the first time ever. Only dude to ever do it without a Pro Bowl or All Pro offensive lineman. And Aaron Rodgers won an MVP with like 42 touchdown passes.
Personally, I think if that was the case this year, I think CJ Stroud should be the winner. If you take CJ Stroud off that Texas team, they're
garbage.
They're at the bottom of the fucking NFL.
I mean, I don't disagree. So, but Spoon, you're gonna go with Tua. Riley, you're going with Josh Allen, and I have Lamar. Very diverse group for the MVP race. We're going to continue to keep up with it as the season goes on, and we will continue to get just as heated about it. So make sure to stay and tune in for those. Right now, Spoon, you got a little guess the player action for us?
I do, and I'm switching it up a little bit this week. I'm not doing season stats.
All right,
I am going to do stats in the last 5 games.
Stats in the last 5 games. Okay. I thought you were about to say career stats. The first question was, are these active players?
No. You guys got it?
Yeah. So these are passing. PYPG is passing yards per game, I assume.
Yep.
Cool. So these are both quarterbacks.
Both
quarterbacks. 10 touchdowns, 3 INTs, 5 INTs, 67, 64. I'm going to say the dude on the left is dude on the left.
Can I take a guess at the left?
Take a guess.
Is it Russ?
Nope.
No, Russ does. I don't think Russ has 3 interceptions. Is the dude on the left CJ Stroud?
No.
Damn it. Is the dude on the right CJ
I don't
Stroud?
think he has.
The guy on the right is CJ Stroud.
Okay. I knew he had like 3 to 5 interceptions. So we got to figure out who's on the left. So CJ Stroud's on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dude on the left a big name?
Yes.
Dude on the left, Josh Allen?
Nope.
Damn it.
Mahomes?
Nope.
Is it Hurts?
Nope.
Damn it.
Hurts would probably be lower.
Is it Tua?
It is Tua.
Ah, there it is. I was like,
I just wanted to bring up how close, because we just talked about the MVP, and ironically, it's this week I'm picking it. I just want to show how good CJ Stroud has been the last 5 games compared to my MVP candidate, that is Tua. He has been.
Shout out to Tank Dell. Tank Dell's been balling. This is CJ Stroud's been playing great, but shout out to Tank Dell. I just want to give him a little shout out. Continue.
No, I agree. Tank Dell, like 2 rookies, you love to see that.
You love it. If you're a Houston Texans fan right now, you are fucking full gas. D'Amico Ryans fucking played for you.
And don't they have the Browns first round pick?
Yeah.
Don't they have the like their future Watson outlook looks really good.
Real good right about now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's up to the front office to use that.
Keep it going. Keep it rolling. Spoon, do you have another one, or is it just the one this week?
It's just the one, but I was going to say now it's on to the playoffs if you guys are ready to talk about it.
Yep. You tell me when you're ready for that. I'll put it up on the screen for you.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So right here we got the wild card. I mean, like I said earlier, the Packers are the 8th seed in the NFC. That's kind of like because the Packers the Rams are a better team. I feel like the Falcons aren't a great team. I feel like the Rams are the only team there. They've been without Stafford. Stafford's come back, so now they have like a shot. They just beat the Seahawks, so like that's a big deal for them. What?
Oh, I was gonna say I wanted to say on the NFC side, the Vikings lost and they still remain the 7th seed, and they are still 2 wins ahead of the Packers.
Yeah.
So the Vikings, I mean, even that loss did not hurt them at all.
No,
in my mind.
Room.
And on the other side, the Bills better be careful because the Broncos are hot. I don't see the Colts making a big push, but the Broncos are hot.
No, the Colts just stayed there because honestly they had a bye week, so that's why I feel like they're still kind of in the first 3 out. But I don't see them winning this week. I almost took them, and I was like, nah, there's no way.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I
don't see it happening. They are favored though. That blew my mind. They are
favored against the Bucks, but I don't see them.
I see the Bucks winning that game. The Browns at 5, Texans at 6, Steelers at 7. I feel like the Steelers, Broncos, Bills are the only like the flux there. Like one of those 3 teams make it. I see the Browns making it.
I see the Texans making it.
Yeah, Texans are going to win their division. You heard it here first. You heard it here last week.
They got to get the win this week first.
They're going to win their division. It's going to happen.
And if the Texans win the division, I still think the Jags will make the wild card.
Yes,
No
and I would switch them out. I feel like the Steelers are the only team in this. I'm picking them to win this week, but the only team in this that won't make the playoffs. A team here doesn't.
I was gonna say I do agree with you. I think it's between Steelers, Bills, Broncos at this point.
Yep.
Who gets that last 7 seed? So it's coming down. It's crunch time right now.
Absolutely. Right now you have Baltimore in the 1 seed, Kansas City in the 2 seed. The Jags are actually the 3 seed with Miami in the 4 seed right now, and I did like each week I'm continuing to update, what actually happens and then predicting what happens. And now I have Kansas City finishing in the 1 seed in the AFC, Baltimore 2, Houston 3 winning their division, Miami at the 4 seed, Cleveland, Jags, and then Pittsburgh getting in. I have the Bills missing the playoffs. It doesn't look good for Buffalo right now. It just doesn't. Because even if they keep winning, they need other teams to lose, and the other teams above them aren't really bad teams. So it's hard to see them it's hard to see them making the playoffs with the teams that are above them. So
do you think the Broncos make the playoffs before the Bills do?
Let me see. I don't want to say yes. I had the Broncos finishing at 10-7. And I had the Bills finishing at 9-8.
Okay, so yep.
And I'm not doing like anything crazy here. Like I have the Broncos. Let's see, the Broncos and the Bills play, or no, they already played, right? Yeah, they played and the Broncos won, so they have the tiebreaker over them. And then the Broncos play the Browns at home, which I think they could win. I don't know if they will win. They play the Texans on the road, which I think they'll lose. Yep. The Broncos play the Chargers on the road, which I think they'll win. Then they play the Lions on the road, which I think they lose. And then they play the Pats, the Chargers again at home, and then the Raiders on the road, which I think they win all those.
Yeah, 3 wins that they could definitely get right there.
So, like, aside from, like, the only game that I see, maybe they drop 1 to the Chargers division game, and then it's whether or not they beat the Browns. Like, those are the only 2. That's the difference between them being 8-9 and 10-7.
Yep.
Like, it's very up in the air right now for them. And the Bills, let's see, who did I have them as? Let's see here. Go through the Bills real quick. I had the Bills losing to the Eagles this week, losing to the Chiefs at Arrowhead. I even have them beating the Cowboys, beating the Chargers, and beating the Patriots, but then they still have to beat the Dolphins. And even if they did beat the Dolphins in this case scenario, they would still miss the playoffs at 10-7 because of the Broncos loss. So they really have to they have to win all those games. They really have to win out.
Yeah.
They really, I mean,
they have one of the toughest. They have one of the toughest schedules.
They have to win out.
They're a game behind Miami.
Yeah. But they play Miami.
So they can win their division.
I mean,
yeah, but the Dolphins also listen to this stretch. The Dolphins play the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans, the Jets. I mean, they could win all 4 of those games.
Yeah,
I don't see a single game there that they lose. They might drop one of them to the Jets.
And listen to this: the Bills play the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins, and the Chargers. Those are all top 10 offenses they play, and some of those are top 5 to 10 teams they play. The only guaranteed win they have left on their schedule is the Patriots. Like that's a division game, so that could be weird. Like we don't know, but I think they win that game. Obviously, I think they beat the Chargers. I think they're a better team, but I think they lose to both the Eagles and the Chiefs. I think they have a shot to beat Dallas at home because their defense is good. They're in Buffalo, coming off 2 games. I don't think they dropped 3 straight. That would be weird. And then you have a road game. Then you get a home game against a division opponent. But then you have to end the season at Miami. and Miami's fighting for playoff seed. Like, I have Miami at the 4 seed. I have them finishing 13-4 at the 4 seed. Like, that's like they're going to be fighting to try to stay, like, try to get a better seed. Like, the AFC is so good, and Riley, tell me, you think that they win 3 of these games? Because they would need to win 3 of them. You think they beat 3 of the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins, as well as the Patriots and the Chargers? Because I think they can beat 2 of those teams.
No,
I don't think they can beat
Miami's a division game, so I feel like that is more of a 50-50.
It's really hard, but it's so hard to beat a team twice in a season. It's statistically proven. It's like a 12% chance to beat a team twice in one season, and it's like a 3% chance to beat them 3 times in one season.
You want to hear something crazy?
What?
Steelers are making the playoffs this year.
They're my 7th seed. I have them right here. I have them. Let's see. I had them finishing.
They're not a team that excites me at
11-6
when it comes to the playoffs. But looking at their schedule,
it's not
ahead. They play the Bengals twice, who Joe Burrow is not going to be there.
Yeah, no Joe Burrow.
They also play the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Colts, and the Seahawks. Those are all winnable games for them. The Seahawks game is going to be tough.
So I even have them losing to the Seahawks and making the playoffs.
Yep, I see them I see them dropping the last 2 games against the Seahawks and the Ravens.
Same,
but
and still making the playoffs.
They could realistically win the next 5 games.
Yeah,
and just make the playoffs from that.
I agree completely.
That's
I agree
crazy.
100% completely. We should all, I think this NFC wildcard picture is very, very straightforward and to the point, whereas the AFC is a little messier, but
anything could happen.
I agree completely. I have the Broncos sitting at 7-10 in the 8 seed, and I have the Bills at 9-8 sitting in the 9 seed. And the Bills would have to win 2. So I have them right now. So just for shits and giggles, I have them beating the Cowboys, and I have them beating the Chargers. So let's say they win both those games. So they have to get 2 more games out of the 2 losses I have them, or the 3 losses I have them. I have them losing to Philly, Kansas City, and Miami. They have to win 2 of those games to make the playoffs.
It's tough. I don't know if they can.
I
don't see it.
And 2 of those, and all 3 of those games are on the road. So they have to beat Philly, Kansas City, and Miami. They have to beat 2 of those 3 teams on the road, and beat the Cowboys at home, and beat the Chargers on the road.
At the end of the season, I'll be taking apology letters, by the way.
Okay.
All right, so at the end of the season, you will also admit you were dead wrong. If you're going to take an apology letter. No. If you're going to be like,
apology letters, definitely.
You gotta. If you're going to take the apology letters, you also have to admit you were wrong.
But I won't.
Yeah. Real quiet over there now. Real quiet when you have to own up to when you were wrong.
Oh,
don't worry. We won't let you forget. We won't let you forget. We will not let it happen. All right, so I only got a couple questions for y'all today, all right? I got just a couple questions for y'all. Who do you each think is going to win the Super Bowl? You can give your Super Bowl matchup if you prefer and who you think will win. But if you had to pick a team, I'm going to go with Niners-Ravens. We're going to have a Super Bowl rematch from way back in 2013. I say way back. I think it was 2012, 2013 season. A whole decade ago. I think that the Baltimore Ravens and MVP Lamar Jackson are going to win the Super Bowl, beating out the Kyle Shanahan-led 49ers team. I think that Shanahan gets to big games and chokes, and he will do it again. He will make it to the dance for the 3rd time as a professional coach, as either a coordinator or a head coach, and he will lose to the Ravens and John Harbaugh, who wins his 2nd ring and retires.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I think if John Harbaugh or Jim,
when was the last time an MVP? When was the last time an MVP?
Last year, Patrick Mahomes. Last year, Patrick Mahomes.
Not named Patrick Mahomes.
1999 Kurt Warner.
Really? So
Or
Mahomes,
1999, 2000, either one of the two seasons. I can't remember for sure. But it was Kurt Warner before that.
Huh. That's crazy.
It hadn't happened in forever. And last year's Super Bowl was like everything historically and statistically pointed Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win. So, like, I thought the Eagles were going to win, and I told everybody, like, the Chiefs are going to have to put up, like, 40 points to win this game if they stand a chance, and they put up 38 and won the game. So, you know, I wasn't too far off, but it was definitely trend-wise, if you looked at the analytics, the Eagles were going to win that game. The only way the Eagles weren't is if the Chiefs put up somewhere near 40 points, which they did, and won the Super Bowl. So before that, no MVP had won the Super Bowl in the modern century. So, yeah.
That's
right.
crazy.
So at the beginning of the year, you had Bengals 49ers in your Super Bowl, right?
Yep. And Joe Burrow, obviously.
So the only difference is now you're switching out your AFC team.
Yeah. I still think the Niners struggled in the middle of the year. Every team, the Rams a few years back, lost 3 straight games in the middle of the year. They won a Super Bowl. I still think this is a good football team. I don't think they're as dominant as we thought they were, but I definitely think they're still a great top 2 team in the NFC, and I think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl.
All right.
That they can definitely travel. So I think, the defense can travel, and their offense is obviously, like, we know what they can do. So I think they win. I think they win the Super Bowl. The Ravens over the Niners.
Riley, what do you got?
Man, I'm probably going to go with the Niners. I'm probably going to go with the Niners to win it. I don't think they have the best quarterback in the league, but I think they have one of the best rosters on paper in the league.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll definitely take them a long way in the NFC, and then it's just a matter of winning whoever comes out of the AFC.
Absolutely. Spoon, you got a team?
That's going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just a little. You don't. We're not going to hold you to this. You don't have to, like, die on this sword. I mean, I will.
I was going to pivot a little bit because at the beginning of the year, I had Bengals Cowboys as my Super Bowl matchup.
Yep.
And I had the Bengals winning. I did not have the Cowboys winning.
Okay.
Man, I still think the Cowboys are capable of making the Super Bowl. I think they're heating up a little bit. I think Dak Prescott is heating up right now. I know he's heating up against bad teams, but hey, man, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes that's what it takes. Let him catch fire with these bad teams. That way it can carry over when they play the good teams, all right? My AFC team, though, I want to lean Chiefs, but I'm not. I'm going to say the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What?
Yes.
The Jags.
Really?
You're picking the Jags? You're picking a Jags Cowboys Super Bowl.
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are, scratch out the 49er game. I get that. That was kind of a letdown, but I think that this team definitely has what it takes and can compete in the AFC and make the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, okay.
No.
No,
he's like, no.
They have the Browns left on the schedule. They have the Browns and the Ravens, and then they have Tampa Bay, Carolina, Tennessee. So the Browns and the Ravens game. The Browns. They'll make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs. I don't disagree with that, but they're going to make the playoff as a 6th seed, in my opinion. So
they're gonna go into Houston and they're gonna beat Houston this week because they are still upset about them coming into their house and beating them. They're gonna win it this week. They're gonna win the division, and they're gonna go to the Super Bowl, dude.
We'll see. Well, with that, I would like to turn our attention to our final topic of the day, our top 10. So if you will please join me, I will reveal the top 10 in just a moment. Get the screen up here in the window for you. Alrighty, so we have a little bit of movement here this week. We have the Texans jumping up, knocking out the Seahawks. We have the Jags staying put at 9. The Browns actually dropped 2 spots, which I am so shocked that everybody else on the show has the Browns in the bottom 5. Browns are a top 5 team right now. They have proven they can win against good teams with PJ Walker in. They beat the Ravens with PJ Walker in. All right. They have proven they can win against elite talent, like with their defense. The Browns are a top 5 team. That's my opinion. Everybody else disagrees with me. We have the Niners at 7, moving up 1 spot from 8. We have the Lions dropping 2 spots from 4 to 6. We have the Dolphins standing pat at 5. We have the Cowboys jumping from 7 all the way up to 4. Now, I think that has to do with a little bit of Cowboys bias on this show.
And I am here to tell you no, because I had the Cowboys behind the Jaguars and the Niners.
Wasn't talking about you, bud.
Okay, good thing. Because I just wanted to point out that I am wearing a Cowboys jersey right now.
That's why I
did not have them in the top 5. I
shout out Dalt, the
at
big Cowboys
8,
fan.
7.
Riley also had the Cowboys pretty high.
I'm saying this off the top of my head, but I think I had the Cowboys at 4. Like, I think that's right where I put them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
coming from a Cowboys fan, I didn't even have them in my top 5. That's crazy.
That's
all right.
Personal opinions, it is what it is. I think the Cowboys are definitely a fringe 5 team. I'm not saying 4 is insanely high. I'm saying the Browns are a better team. That being said, we have the Chiefs dropping 2 spots from 1 to 3. We have the Ravens jumping a spot from 3 to 2. And we have the Eagles at spot number 1 for the 2nd consecutive week. So I don't see a whole lot of surprises here other than the Browns for me. The Lions had a bad week where they almost lost to the Bears, so them dropping makes a little bit of sense. The Cowboys are definitely a better team than the Lions. I think the Dolphins are a little bit better than the Cowboys, in my opinion. But, hey, the Dolphins haven't proven they can beat good teams yet, so, I don't hate it. But the Browns have proven that they can beat the 49ers above them, the Ravens above them, and I think they could beat the Lions above them. I think they could beat the Cowboys above them. So I'm a little salty that the Browns are getting disrespected this way just because Deshaun Watson got hurt.
And I think that's part of the reason why. They have a backup quarterback now,
but they beat
nobody
the
knows
Ravens with the backup quarterback. They beat the 49ers with the backup quarterback. This is not like Deshaun Watson was carrying this team. They beat these teams with PJ Walker in the game.
The only thing I'll say to that is those are all run-dominant teams, and is that not are the Browns not the best defense against the run?
And Deshaun Watson did play against the Ravens.
What you're saying is the best teams in the NFL used their best thing and got stopped by the Browns. That's what I'm hearing.
But
yeah.
What's going to happen when they play the Chiefs?
So,
when the Browns did not have Deshaun Watson, they also lost to the Seahawks.
Top 3 rushing offense. The Browns are 6th in total points and 1st in yards among defenses. They are 1st in passing defense in the NFL. They are 1st in drives ending in a score by opposing teams. They have 3 games with 3 points or less given up, and they are 7-3 after beating a 6-4 Pittsburgh team without their quarterback one.
Pittsburgh doesn't even have a quarterback one. Pittsburgh is not that impressive of a win.
Browns quarterback one. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson getting X-nayed for the season.
Yeah, I'm saying Kenny Pickett is not a quarterback one. He can beat us.
I wasn't talking about Kenny Pickett. I wasn't talking. Kenny Pickett sucks. I'm not saying he's good. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not questioning that. But the Pittsburgh Steelers do have a great defense, and they beat them. Okay. The Browns deserve more respect than they are being given on this show, and I am here for Brown. I'm here for the state of Ohio. I identify with the state of Ohio so much because of the state of Minnesota and my fandom with them. I am with you, fans from Ohio. I believe in your teams. We love you on the show. Okay?
I just want to point out, though. Just let me point out.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson did play whenever they beat the Ravens.
Yeah, he did play. And
whenever he didn't play, guess who was capable of beating the Browns? That is the Seahawks. So this Browns team is not that good whenever Deshaun Watson is not playing, and that's why we have them so low right now.
But PJ Walker came in and finished the game against the Ravens and won the game.
So
He only had to throw one pass.
why-
That's all he had to do. He threw one pass,
Why-
dude.
He
They
won
were
the
already
game.
winning.
He won the game.
Hey, why are you giving PJ Walker so much credit now, but when he was on the Bears, he was a complete bum? You weren't giving PJ Walker credit then.
Was I dissing him when he was on the Bears?
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't ever
I'll
remember.
pull up-
I would
I'll
like
pull
to
up
see.
some text messages.
I also
Yeah, I
want to
would
point
like
out
to-
that
I
when
would like to
Deshaun
see
Watson
that.
is not playing, the Ravens beat the Browns 28-3.
They did. Wait, what?
When Deshaun Watson is not playing, the Ravens beat the Browns 28-3.
Ravens beat the Browns. Deshaun Watson played in that game.
He did not play in that game.
The one at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was Thomas Robinson was the starting quarterback.
Okay. I was about to say. I know PJ Walker didn't start that game.
So that is how bad they are whenever they put in their backup quarterback. Sure, they can squeeze a win
When
by
they put
the
in
Steelers.
that backup quarterback.
Okay, and he wasn't the reason that they beat the Ravens. It was Watson. He threw one pass in that game.
Let's do this. Hold on.
He threw one pass. He was like, "Oh yeah, hey man, go in there, just throw one pass real quick." Watson just got hurt, even though we're winning the game. All right,
That's
man.
fair. That's a fair accusation. I'm not saying it's not. That was in the Baltimore game, correct?
Correct.
Where Deshaun Watson had 200 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. It's not like Deshaun Watson was out there slinging the rock and throwing it all.
But he
over
also
the yard
played
and
one of the
destroying.
best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm not.
And he's not great.
My point.
He's good
my
enough
point
to
is-
get them.
Hold on. My point is, I'm not saying PJ Walker is this MVP stud. He's so good, and look at this. I'm saying they lost Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was not good this season. We've talked about it. He was not a good starting quarterback, and they were winning games. Now, what I'm saying is, PJ Walker is not my top choice for quarterback for any team. I'm saying the downgrade from Watson to Walker is like going from a 4 to a 3. Okay, it's not that much. You're not losing that much from the quarterback position. Give him a couple weeks to get in tune with these receivers, and he'll be having roughly the same statistical output that Watson was having. Because Watson played bad. PJ Walker is not a great quarterback. He's not even really a good quarterback. But neither was Deshaun Watson. I mean, Watson had one good game against Tennessee where he threw for 289 and 2 touchdowns. Other than that, he had a pick in every game except for the Arizona game where he only threw for 215 yards. Like, these aren't great numbers. And I don't know how many fumbles he had.
And 4 of their 7 wins are also against not really good teams.
This is true.
Bengals, Titans, Colts.
But 3 of their
Cardinals.
wins are against good teams. So almost 50% of their wins are against good teams.
They have 3
And
wins.
50% of those, 2 out of those 3 wins.
They beat the Ravens and the Niners. There's not another good win on their record.
Yeah, but they beat the Ravens and the Niners, dude.
That is 2 really good wins, absolutely. But their defense is to credit for that.
I mean, PJ Walker had a game-winning drive against the Steelers.
I mean, are the Steelers that good though?
Their defense is.
Their defense isn't bad.
Yeah,
Have
and
we-
when it
have we-
mattered
have we
most,
not all
PJ
been
Walker
on-
led the team down the field and scored a touchdown when it mattered most. Like I said, I'm not saying PJ Walker is an MVP candidate. I'm not trying to like hype PJ Walker's train up. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. All I'm trying to say is that he is not that big of a downgrade from Deshaun Watson, and they were able to beat the Niners and the Steelers.
Were the Niners healthy? Weren't they missing a bunch of key starters that game?
No, the Niners were healthy. I mean, they were missing Deebo Samuel. That's the only starter they were missing. They did have people get hurt in the game, so maybe that's what you're thinking of. But they were healthy in that game. I'm just saying. I think that the Browns are being done a lot of disrespect. They have more impressive wins than most of the teams on this board. They certainly have more impressive wins than the Lions do.
Oh yeah.
Like, certainly they have more impressive wins than, I mean, they beat the Niners, who are above them. They beat the Ravens, who are at 2. Like, They've beaten
The Niners have some impressive wins, though.
Yeah, but they also got beat by the Browns, who were below them. The Browns have beaten 3 teams above them in the top 10. Like this is it makes no sense to me. Just because they don't have the big names, like it just doesn't make sense to me, I guess.
Who do the Browns play this week?
Bengals, I believe, right? Isn't that who they play?
Broncos.
No, Pittsburgh plays the Bengals. They play
Browns
the
play the
Broncos. We talked about this. They play the Broncos. So the Browns' remaining schedule, they play the Broncos, which I personally think they might lose. They play just because Denver's playing really good and they're really hot right now. Then they play the
Then
Rams.
why is this team in the top 10? If you're saying that they're going to lose to the Broncos.
Because I just explained why. I said the Broncos are really hot right now. Sometimes you fall victim to a hot streak. Good teams lose to bad teams.
Do you have them beating the Rams with Matthew
Yes,
Stafford?
I have them beating the Rams in LA. I have them beating the Jags at home. I have them beating the Bears at home. I have them. It's a 50-50 game on the Texans game because it's in Houston. I think that'll be a great test for CJ Stroud. I have them beating the Jets, and I have them beating the Bengals. And that puts them at 12-5 in the 5 seed. So that would have
in that
them...
stretch, I like just you naming off the teams. I think
it's
they're
all
3-2.
bad teams.
So,
Like,
the
I could
Texans
see
are a
them
bad team?
losing.
The Jaguars are a bad team?
No, they have some easy wins through there. They have the Rams, the Bears, the Jets, the Bengals.
The Rams
Don't tell
are
me
a
that
bad
those
team.
aren't-
The Rams just beat Seattle.
I don't think the Browns lose to the Rams. Or no, I think the Browns.
You don't think they
do
beat the-
lose to the Rams.
You think the Browns do lose? to the Rams?
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't think I think
With
the offense
Matthew
is good.
Stafford back, like
I think the
I
offense.
think
is
I
good.
think
The
Matthew
defense-
Stafford is
Rams
a slept
Seahawks is
on.
also a division game.
divisional game. Yes, I do
Not
understand
a
that.
yippee.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. We're gonna have to come back to that because we're running late. But we're gonna keep you updated on this Browns slander that's been going on around here.
Oh, it's going to continue.
Promise
It's
you
going to
that.
continue.
I'll be taking apologies and I'll admit if I'm wrong, when I'm wrong. So with that, we thank everybody for sticking around to the very end. If you're still here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave us notes, leave us tidbits about what you think we can get better at and what you like to see and what you want to hear about. Until next week, have a great one.